Hi, I'm Andrea Galbraith. I'm a mom, an author, a coach, and I love helping people find solutions to their problems. And you, my friend, have a problem. I know that because you're here wanting to figure out what you can do to help minimize your child's tantrums. Well, no worries. I'm going to give you some solutions. Let's talk about why kids have tantrums in the first place. Well, usually it's because something is happening that they don't like. And for some kids, they don't yet have the skills to communicate their feelings in any other way other than to stomp, scream, cry, fall on the floor, and flail around like a fish out of water. Now, for older kids who continue to have tantrums, oftentimes that's because the tantrums work. They learn over time that if they throw a fit, they'll get what they want. Regardless of whatever is motivating your child's behavior, there are ways that you can minimize how often it happens or how long the tantrums happen. And in most cases, you can get rid of tantrums entirely. Now, when your kiddo has a tantrum, this is what you do. Number one, stay calm. You are your child's primary teacher, and they are watching you for cues. They model what you do. And what better message to share with your child than how to stay calm in really uncomfortable situations, like when your child is having a fit at the Target checkout line over some Sour Patch Kids. So stay calm. First and foremost, that's the most important. Secondly, you want to minimize the attention that you are giving your child. Remember this, always remember this, whatever you give attention to stays and sometimes grows. So if you are engaging your child while they are having a tantrum, whether that's by talking to them, trying to reason with them, bribing or threatening them, they still have your attention. And for some kids, after a while, it just becomes about keeping their parents engaged. So you want to minimize attention and at some point actually turn all attention off. Now, before you do that, you can give a statement to redirect their behavior. You can say something like, when you're quiet, then I can talk to you. Or you can say something like, I'll talk to you when you're ready to speak to me reasonably. Of course, you have to use a language that your child can understand. Now, if you have a 2-year-old or a younger child who's mostly nonverbal, who has minimal language, you can use nonverbal cues like shh and shake your head. And after you do that, my friend, turn off all attention, no eye contact, no physical contact, and you can even do this, which I've done plenty of times with my kids and kids that I've worked with in homes and other mental health centers. Just do this. Turn your back, walk away. It works. Now that is a really powerful nonverbal cue by letting your kids know that you will have nothing to do with them when they're having a fit. I need to add something in here though. If your child is having a tantrum in a place that puts them in danger or somebody else could be harmed, or if they're gonna destroy everything around them, then it's important that you make the environment safe or you make your child safe. Now, for younger kids, that might mean you actually pick them up and move them somewhere where they are not going to harm themselves, and then you would turn off all attention. Now, let's say your kid gets quiet, even if it's for a second. Jump right in there. Give them attention. Let them know that that's the behavior you want to stay. And for some kids, that might even mean when they're taking that breath. You know when babies do that? I used to jump right in with my kids and say, are you done? Are you finished? I can talk to you. Now for older kids, obviously, you wouldn't respond that way. But when your child is quiet, you can say, you're quiet. I love it. Let's talk now. So remember that you want to ignore the behavior that you want to go away, and you're going to give lots of attention that you want to stay to the behavior that you want to stay. It is so important that you don't give in to your child's tantrums. And let me tell you, I get it. At the end of the day, if you've been working or if you've been dealing with kids all day, you are tired and you just don't want to deal with the mess. I've been there. I have 3 kids. I get it. But it is so important that you don't succumb to that behavior, because when you do, it has been strengthened. Remember, 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 whatever you give attention to stays. So, if you want your kids' tantrums to continue, go ahead and give into it. But I know that's not what you want because you're here. It can be tough at first. It's going to take you some time to practice patience and ignoring, turning off attention, and giving attention at the appropriate times. It's going to take time for your kid to realize that this is a new mom or dad or auntie. I don't know what the relationship is you have with your child, but it's new and you're doing new things, and your child may be like, wait, hold on a second. This isn't working anymore. And every once in a while, you'll see the behavior actually grow, and then you might think that you've lost your mind. But it's actually called the pre-extinction burst. Remember, the child behaves in a way because it works for them, and then some level they're going to realize it's not working for them, so they're going to try even harder to make it work. So that's when it's really important that you continue to stay calm, you continue to redirect, you continue to ignore the behavior you don't want to see and give lots of attention to the behavior you do want to see. Parents, friends, aunties, teachers, let me tell you, what I just shared with you is based on decades worth of research and evidence. It works. Be consistent with it and you will see a reduction and hopefully just complete annihilation of your kids' tantrums. I'd love to know your thoughts. If you're getting this video in an email, please hit reply. Let me know what you think. If you're seeing this video on any of my social media channels, leave a comment. I'd love to know your thoughts. Here's to being a mostly sane parent. Have a happy and healthy day.